We are live. Hey guys, Thunder E here, and welcome to OnBoored and the Superhero Hour, episode 8. And with me is Charles. How's it going, man?
Doing pretty good. I enjoyed the shows this week for the most part, and I recently came back from a convention in Memphis, Tennessee.
Tell us, how's the convention?
The convention was pretty good. Well, I mean, the people were good, but no offense to the people in charge of the convention. Got to admit, the panels this year kind of sucked, and the cosplaying was lackluster as well.
Yeah, I mean, that's one of the things when you go to conventions, especially. I haven't been to Comic-Con, but I've been to PAX, and even at PAX, you know, you're there to see some really serious cosplay, and I mean, it's cool. Not everyone can do, you know, high level stuff, but even the cool, simple ones, I do like it as long as it's done well.
Yeah, well, I mean, I was expecting there to be like all kinds of people cosplaying, but I saw maybe one Scarlet Spider. I saw maybe two Harley Quinns, one Joker, and that was about it. Nobody else really cosplayed as anyone in particular. I mean, it wasn't that good. And the only panel this year that was entertaining is one where they were talking about interstellar flight. They were talking about like what their options are for traveling to other star systems. Like they talked about like how long it would take for us to reach Alpha Centauri. And that was about all that was really entertaining. Everything else was kind of boring, to be honest.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
I will. All right, let's start it off with the Spider-Man trailer. We'll get to the shows, but let's start off with the Spider-Man Homecoming trailer number 2, I believe, that dropped. What are your thoughts?
Oh, sorry, you kind of broke up there. What did you say?
No, I said, what are your thoughts? What are your thoughts?
Oh, what are my thoughts? Okay. I only watched the trailer once, and I got to admit, the trailer didn't really do it for me. I mean, I might have watched the trailer like mere minutes after I woke up that morning, so I might have still been disoriented when I watched the trailer. But I got to admit that when I watched the trailer, it didn't really do it for me. I mean, there were maybe some things I liked about it, like they touched more on Vulture, like they explored more of him a little bit. Like he was in that warehouse and he was talking to the other criminals saying, "This is our time," or something like that. I thought that was cool. I also liked how Peter Parker said that he's nothing without the suit, and Tony Stark said, "Well, if you're nothing without that suit, then you don't deserve the suit." And I really liked that line because it's true. I mean, being Spider-Man is more than just wearing the costume. It's who you are inside, and Peter Parker clearly doesn't understand that yet. So that's going to be an interesting plot point for the Spider-Man movie. But aside from that, the trailer was, well, okay, I'd say.
I mean, I like the trailer. I did. It didn't pump me up as much as, say, if I was compared to Justice League trailer, just in terms of excitement, not types of just excitement. That had me more pumped. I mean, I like DC more. That's just how it is. But the things I liked I do like Tom Holland as Spider-Man. He kind of comes off very like what I expected to see what Spider-Man would be if he was in high school. So I kind of like that.
Yeah. I'm just gonna say that I think Tom Holland's gonna be the best Spider-Man that we've had yet.
Yeah, I would. I mean, I would agree from just the short stints from trailers in the last movie. Yeah.
Yeah.
But no, I did. I like the Vulture. I like the look of the Vulture. At first, I thought I wasn't going to like it, but that scene where you see the Vulture uses his wing to pick up Spider-Man, and that was pretty massive. I mean, I liked the approach for Vulture, and we'll see. I mean, we'll see how it turns out. It's going to do well. I mean, everybody loves Spider-Man, so it's as a movie, I think that movie.
Now, I have a question. Are we going to talk about the It trailer?
Oh, we can talk about the It trailer. We can talk about that. So since you brought it up, why did you start? Why did you kick it off?
Yeah, I'm going to start because I've never actually read the book. I know I'm probably going to get some hate for that, and that's fine. I don't care. But I did watch the movie with Tim Curry that came out back in 1990.
Yeah.
I must have watched that movie a good dozen times over the years.
Okay.
I mean, I love that movie to death just because of Tim Curry as Pennywise the Dancing Clown.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that is awesome. And in this new movie, even though most horror movie remakes that have come out recently have been mediocre or downright bad, I mean, take a look at the Poltergeist remake. I mean, that movie didn't really do that well. I've seen parts of it, and I had a hard time going through it. But the Stephen King's It remake, however, I am really hopeful for this. I mean, from what I got from the trailer, it looks like it's going to have just the right amount of horror in the movie. Now, the one thing that I'm concerned about is I'm afraid that the It movie is going to be too similar to Stranger Things. I mean, Stranger Things was popular because of all the chemistry and all the interesting stories and all that, mostly because of the child actors. The child actors were phenomenal. And I'm afraid that there's going to be multiple studios that are going to try to replicate that success. And when they try to replicate that success, they usually fail. And I'm worried that that's what's going to happen with Stephen King's It. Because if you remember from the movie that came out in 1990, they had it in two parts. The first part was when they were children. The second part was when they were adults.
Yeah.
And I'm curious as to what they're going to do with this movie. Are they going to focus on just the children? Or are they going to have moments where they're going to jump forward when they're adults? Or are they going to do like an It Part 2 with them as adults?
It all depends on how well the movie does. If the movie is a gangbuster, because the budget for this movie is small. So the horror movies that have done well are recently, and only the ones by James Wan have pretty much done well. The first Annabelle movie, those are, and I think the other one where he did with the husband and wife who are like ghosts or ghost specialists. I can't remember. Conjuring, yeah, Conjuring and Conjuring 2.
The Conjuring.
Yeah, those are the two. Those are the three that have done well. And
I mean,
sorry, go ahead.
I'm a fan of James Wan just because I've been a fan of his since the first Saw movie. He directed the first Saw movie, and then he stayed on as an executive producer for like all the continuing ones.
Okay,
I think I know he was involved with like at least the first three.
I think what it is that if whoever is making it, if they follow the path that Warner Brothers made with The Conjuring, because if you saw the sequel, they took their time, they made the sequel, and everybody liked it. They were like, this is a good sequel. But it was the greatest sequel. No, but it was good where you're like, well, I felt like I watched a movie I liked. To me, it all depends on that, how the first movie does. If the first movie does well enough, then you're going to see a situation where instead of them making it their adults, they might cut it in half, or they might do a separate story. Because with it, you don't necessarily...
Well, no. What they should do is they should just... if they do another movie, they should leave it at two movies. The first movie when they're kids, the second movie when they're adults. And then at the end of the second movie, that's when the adults find the It creature and they finally kill it, and the terror is over. No more than that. Just that is it. Because if they continue, if they try to explore other plot lines, they're going to fail. They are going to fail. That is a 100% guarantee. They will fail.
They will try to. I mean, actually, I disagree on being 100% guarantee, because you can replicate the same thing if it's written well. Everything. I mean, that's the only problem with horror movies. Horror movies are not written well in general.
No, they're not.
That's why the last horror movie I watched was Get Out. I saw that 2 weeks ago, and that was well written. I mean, it had a mixture of comedy where it made sense. You know the kind of thing where like somebody's telling you like, dude, you shouldn't go there. And they say it in a funny way where you're like, yeah, I know I shouldn't be going there. Like, it's almost like obvious humor. So those are the kind of things where like, if they can do that with it, no, I'm not saying humor, but just the writing itself. If the writing is spot on and you can continue that, you can have a good franchise. Because whoever is making it wants a franchise. It's not going to be two movies if it's good. If it's going to be good, it's going to be most likely three. If it's not good, then it just stops at one. And that's good.
Well, then let's hope that it stops at 1, because a movie like Stephen King's It should not be turned into a freaking franchise. It shouldn't.
It's going to be turned into a franchise if it's good.
God dang it, man. They need to stop with this nonsense where they say, I mean, there's always more to the story. No, there isn't. There's not always more to the story. You have a set story and you don't go outside of it.
It's Hollywood. There's always more to a story. Look at The Conjuring. They made one. They made one Conjuring movie. It was so good. They're like, yo, James Wan, man, you need to make another one. And luckily, James Wan took his time to make the second one. I mean, that's just literally how it is. That's just how they do these things. So,
you know, at this point, if they do it turn into a franchise, I can just see Stephen King just sitting in his chair, crossing his arms, shaking his head, going like,
Stephen King doesn't care. Stephen King has so many properties, so much cash coming in. He's like, because his fans know that it's not him. I mean, that's the thing. Any Stephen King fan or anyone who knows Stephen King goes like, oh, it's not the book. All right, okay, I get it. Or, wow, okay, that was kind of close to the book if you're lucky. You know, I'm waiting for Dark Tower because that's one that I didn't read the book. I read the comic book, which he adapted, and even that too was dense. So I would like to see what they do with that.
Well, I mean, I don't know. I don't know anything about Dark Tower. I never read the books. I never read the comics, but I've heard good things.
Yeah. Yeah. Was there any other trailer that dropped?
Well, there's the Justice League trailer, but did you guys already talk about that?
Yeah. I mean, your thoughts. You weren't here last week, so your thoughts on Justice League trailer. Go ahead.
Yeah, I was actually at the convention. I was actually in the hotel room when I actually got the notification for the Justice League trailer. And I was like, "Ooh, I need to watch this." So I watched it on my phone, and I gotta say, I thought it was awesome. I thought Justice League looked so good. And I don't know. I mean, I am hopeful. I still think that Wonder Woman is going to be the movie that's going to save DC. But I think Justice League might be good enough to the point where it will solidify the potential success of the DCEU. I think that's what's going to happen. I don't know if it's going to be on par with the Avengers, because the first Avengers movie was amazing, but Justice League I think is going to be amazing. But I usually judge a movie like this based on like how many times I can rewatch it. Like the more I rewatch it, the more will I still enjoy it. Yeah. With Avengers now, if I watch it again, most likely I'm gonna pass out. I'm just gonna fall asleep probably halfway through the movie, and I'm just gonna wake up probably like with the movie like having 10 minutes left. If Justice League is able to keep me interested every time that I watch it, I will consider it a success.
Joshua says, yes, GLA was epic. It's going to be better than Avengers. Personally, I loved the Avengers, but to me, it was not as great as everyone likes. It's not in my top 3 comic book movies from Marvel side anyway. Because I just, like you said, to me, I have that replay value. I don't like the replay value with the Avengers, the first one. There's some points where I would just kind of like either doze off or do something, or like, you know, it might be my TV here, and I'll just go like, I would just edit a video. Like that's how I would watch it, just, you know, something like that. So I definitely, but I same with you. I enjoy the trailer for Justice League. I think in the movie, so when last week Lou was like, well, Aquaman will steal the show. He doesn't care for Cyborg. I think all 3 of them will steal the show. And I think Cyborg would steal the show differently. I think even Zack Snyder said the story is centered around him, because, you know, he's either part of Mother Box or the Mother Box was made from him. And I think he's going to bring the human emotion out of all the characters.
Yeah, I would have to say the one hero that caught my eye in the Justice League trailer would have to be the Flash. I know the Flash wasn't in the trailer that much, but just the scenes of him running, and then that brief second where we see him at the visitor center at a prison where he's actually putting his hand on the glass, and I would assume that that's Henry Allen on the other side, the DCEU version of Henry Allen. I'm really looking forward to them exploring that. I doubt we're going to see a tease to the Reverse Flash. I doubt we're going to see a tease for that. But
no, not at all. Okay, so after spending a week watching that trailer, watching people's reactions, going to message boards, trying to sum up the story from all I know, there are a couple of things in the trailer that you see. So we saw a hint of Steppenwolf in the trailer, which most people missed. There's a scene where Aquaman is swimming and there's something that goes by him lightning. If you slow it down, it is a big electro axe, which is what Steppenwolf uses, that goes past him in water. So it seems that Steppenwolf either went to Atlantis to get one of the mother boxes, and that's where either he took it, beat up his wife, Mara, or at least hurt her in some way, which is why he now joins the Justice League at some point. Because I think one of the things is Batman, remember from the very first trailer, Batman went over to recruit him. And remember when Wonder Woman said, what did he say? He said no-ish, and she's like, no.
Yeah, he said no.
No. So I think at that point he said no. And then when he goes back home, he now realizes that they were attacked. And the mother box was taken from them. So that's why he joins the team. I think at that point. So we see Steppenwolf there. I think when it comes to, I think we will see Green Lantern. I say post-credit scene. And I think it's going to be Hal Jordan.
Yeah, it's most likely going to be Hal Jordan. And who do you think it's going to be? Because I'm still thinking it's going to be Arnie Hammer.
I don't know. It might be. I think they've cast Hal Jordan. I think John Stewart hasn't been cast yet because you don't need him for this movie. You just need him for the Green Lantern Corps movie. But most likely they'll cast him this year. But it could be Armie Hammer. I really don't know who it is.
I know he said that he had heard. I remember a while back he went to like social media and said that he had heard nothing about him being cast or being rumored for the role of Green Lantern. And I think that comment was a crack of bull crap.
Of course, it was all.
I think it was bull crap. I think he was just trying. What's the word? Damage control.
I mean, I was trying to deflect it in some form or fashion away from him. I think we get Superman 2/3 of the way into the movie, and I think this is what happens. The reason I say that is that this is my own guess. So you know the scene where Wonder Woman drops down, and she said, "Let's go." You see, it's Cyborg and Aquaman. That whole scene, there's also another scene before that where Wonder Woman uses her hand and she hits her shield with the lightning. Aquaman is behind her. Batman is not in that scene at all. Those two scenes, Batman's not there. So it means that they are either attacking Steppenwolf's fortress, and to me, it's either they split up into two teams, either Batman going on his own and everybody else going together, or Batman was trying to get Superman. Whether it's Superman's body was also stolen by Steppenwolf, and they're trying to get him back. And two, remember, Lex is also in this movie. To me, I think the one reason why Lex is in this movie is two reasons. I say one reason, but it's two reasons, actually. One, because he was the one who contacted Steppenwolf, number one. And number two, the fact that he most likely is the only person who knows how to bring him back. Because he technically created Doomsday. So I'm thinking that's where that comes into play. And maybe that's why Batman left. Because it's a very typical Justice League thing. Batman was like, you guys go this way, I'm going that way. And then, at that point, maybe he's trying to get Superman back. Even like the Justice League War cartoon, remember? He just told Green Lantern, lead the team, I'm going to get Superman back. And he left. So I think, and also that helps in a movie like this to establish those other characters. Because you show them, you don't show Batman sneaking around. You just show him, as soon as he gets to where maybe Superman's chambers is. But you now establish Aquaman's coolness, Wonder Woman's coolness, as well as, Flash and Cyborg's ability. So I think that's where everything goes, into play. So, I'm not sure, but I think that's how we will see it. I think the movie is pretty straightforward. I don't think the surprises for people in the movies, the general audience will be surprised when Superman shows up. The comic book audience would be all happy when Green Lantern shows up. I think that would be it. I think that's what we're gonna get in this movie. Yeah, I mean, Lois will play a part. I think if you go by the rumor that he's evil, then the one person to bring him back will be Lois. I mean, you got to put something that he's familiar with. Batman was not really his friend. They just kind of made up at the very end. So you want something that will jog his memory back if it's going to be Lois Lane. But we still have 9 months. 9 months on that. Did you see the Planets of the Apes, War of the Apes trailer?
I did, actually. I saw it, and I think it looks great. I think it looks better than Dawn of the Planet of the Apes. Out of the two that we have so far, I'd say Rise is the weakest. Dawn is the best so far. And I'm thinking War is going to surpass Dawn.
Wait, Dawn, which is the first, Rise or Dawn?
Rise is the first one. Dawn is the second one. War is going to be the third one.
Yeah. No, I mean, I think War looks good. I like the fact that I like that twist where you had that gorilla working with the human beings, and he's like, what did they promise you? You know what I mean? Like, what can you promise a gorilla, a sentient gorilla, to kill his own kind? Like, to me, I found that really intriguing. I mean, I wanted.
Well, I'm curious about that as well. I mean, I would.
Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah. Yeah. I would like to know, like, what Woody Harrelson's character said to him to cause him to side with the humans. But I'm thinking it's my theory on that is that I think it's going to be backlash on what happened to Koba at the end of the second movie.
It could be. It could very well
like
be.
maybe there were apes that were still loyal to Koba when Caesar killed him. Spoiler alert. And they decided to consider breaking away from Caesar's faction to create their own faction. So that gorilla isn't the only one that's going to be siding with the humans, most likely.
I mean, yeah, it could be, but then again,
I mean, just to have one gorilla siding with the humans would be just a wasted opportunity.
Yeah, I mean, but Woody Harrelson wants to kill all of them off. So basically, he's going. I mean, why would he keep one gorilla? Unless, of course, I mean, he says, look, I'll give you this little island. You can take one other gorilla with you and you're there. That's it. We keep you in check. I mean, I don't know, but it was intriguing nonetheless. And, again, the directing, what I'm seeing from the trailer, not that I didn't doubt Matt Reeves in the first place. I thought he was a good choice for Batman. I can see what he can bring to the Batman also, again. Just in terms of and in terms of what he could do with certain characters that he might want to make CG or not, especially with just the character acting you see. Not everybody talks about Andy Serkis, but it's not just Andy Serkis. Everyone who does motion capture work on the Apes franchise does a fantastic job. Especially what's his name? Is it Toby Keith or Toby Kebbell, who did Kobar in the second one?
Yeah, Toby Kebbell.
Toby Kebbell, yes, sorry. Yeah. Who did Koba in the second, did a fantastic job. So, and the fact that Matt Reeves was able to capture that well, where, within 2 seconds of watching that movie, you forget it's CGI and you're like, man, these poor monkeys, man. Like you just kind of jump in, you're like, I feel their pain. I know what they're trying to, go through. So I enjoyed it. I thought the trailer was spot on. Yeah.
Yes.
Let's move on to the shows. First one, Supergirl.
The Supergirl episode was about what you'd expect. It was nice to see Linda Carter come back. It was nice to see her come back, and now we got a clear look at what kind of alien she is. Mm-hmm. We still don't know what she's called, but we know that we now know what the alien form looks like, which is a plus. And then, of course, the Daxamite King and Queen. All I'm going to say about that is that I saw that coming.
Yeah.
As soon as Sorbo. He was
too nice. He was too nice to his wife.
Yeah. As soon as he accepted what their son wanted and let their son go, I knew when he was like standing at the window with Terry Hatcher. I'm sorry, what?
No, I just meant like he was done. Sorry. He was done.
Yeah. I thought you were cueing me to shut up because of spoilers or something.
No. I just meant he was done. Sorry.
Okay, but yeah, as soon as he was standing to that window with Tara Hatcher, I knew she was going to kill him. I knew it. I even said it out loud. I was laying down on my couch watching it. And as soon as they were talking, I was like, yeah, she's going to kill him. And then about 2-3 minutes later, boom, dead.
Yeah. Man, that is
so. I don't know, but I don't know. I like the scene where Kara and Mon-El were fighting, where he kept saying like, "I'm sorry, I'm sorry." I'm sorry. I like that a lot. I like the part where she punched him in the face. That was fun. It's always nice seeing him getting hit. But I don't know. But aside from all that, I'd have to say it was a pretty average episode, to be honest.
Yeah, it was. It's becoming more average for me, and also the power levels just differ from day in, day out. I'm tired. Was it 2 weeks ago she stopped a spaceship?
Yeah.
And then the very first episode where the very first fight she had in this episode, she lands and the one-eyed beast fires on her chest and she just blocks it. And then she goes into I-beam duel and she loses. I'm like, really? Come on. It just shouldn't be, but I get it. I get that part. I mean, it was to me it was an okay episode. It wasn't bad. But yeah, hopefully I hope for season 3 they get into a comfortable role and they pick their storylines well. There's certain parts of the storylines for the season that worked, some part that didn't, and I think they're kind of fluctuating on trying to figure out exactly where because even with her powers too, because her powers go with the storylines. Like, do you make it too powerful? Do you make it too weak? Do you make her strong enough for this person or that? That kind of thing. So I'm not even sure. And I think they didn't even know. One thing I don't know in this universe is they've made it so that, in a sense, she can't survive in space for too long. They haven't really shown it, but they've kind of mentioned it. I'm like, huh. I mean, that's a huge deviation from the comic book. Space has nothing,
That's something that I always thought was confusing, is that I never really understood what their survival rate was in open vacuum. I mean, in Batman v Superman, well, not Batman v Superman, in Man of Steel, Superman would be fighting Zod in space, and that's how they shot down that satellite.
Yeah,
and they were up there for quite a while, actually. So
yeah, no, there's no. I mean, in the comics, Superman, people like Superman. What do you call it? Wonder Woman, really, just because of magic, she doesn't necessarily need to breathe air. Superman's own was. They say he can hold his breath for a super long time. That's what they say in some of the wikis. But the way they treat it in the comic, like him fighting on Earth and in space, didn't really matter at all. It was unless you took him in front of a red sun, then it became a big problem for him. That was like pretty much it. That's how they kind of balance it out there. So I'm not sure what they want to do in this universe, whether it's like they can survive for a while, or not so much. So I think once they figure out that, I think they'll get the show on a much better balance across the board. But anyway, moving on to Flash. This episode was I don't know. It was a little here or there. I do like the fact that we're going into the future.
That is very cool. It's also very dangerous because, like Jay Garrick said, if you find out what your own future is and you don't like what it is, you could try to change it, and you're just going to end up making things worse.
True. And except with the Flash and even with Future, is that it's less of a hassle on other people's timelines as opposed to you changing the past. Because if you go to the future and you come back and you're like, oh, I was going to be a doctor. All right, I don't want to be a doctor. I want to be, I'm rich now. I don't need to. And you just kind of stay that way. You're only affecting really mostly your life than other people per se, as opposed to when Barry goes into the past and then just messes everything up. So,
yeah, so basically going to the past is worse than going to the future.
Yeah, because going to the future means that you are mapping around already set outcomes. That's just it. But there are many futures. The past is always one. That's the problem. Because you think about it, right? The future is all, you can have different future options. I can decide to stay at home after this and just sleep the whole night. I can decide to start playing a few games. I can make more videos. I could go out. I could do 100 things. But what I did 30 minutes ago was bake a pie. That's it. Done. Nothing else.
Yes. The way that I would explain it is that the past is written in stone, the present is having events written into the stone, and the future is what has yet to be written.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
As Game of Thrones promo, Joshua. I mean, it was straightforward. It's going to be a battle of three kingdoms. Just can't wait. We'll have to wait to July for winter to come in July. That's very funny. Although in Massachusetts, it snowed today on April 1st. Which is, all I know is all my friends were like, this is the worst April Fool's ever. Because it's real.
Yeah. I don't like April Fool's Day. I used to like it when I was a kid, but nowadays I'm like, yeah, no thanks.
Yeah. All right, moving on to Wednesday stuff. Arrow. I haven't watched Arrow yet, but why don't you take the lead on that?
I would have to say.
Sorry. Before Arrow, DC Legends of Tomorrow is on Tuesdays as well.
That's right. Yeah. Okay. I actually watched DC's Legends of Tomorrow earlier today. I liked it. I thought it was pretty cool. I will say this: it was a two-parter, and I don't think it was a good two-parter. I think what was going on with the new rewritten reality, it should have all been taken care of in one episode. Because for them to stretch it into at least two episodes, I'm sorry. This story, it probably wouldn't keep me interested long enough for that. I will watch next week's episode, but I'm sorry. I thought it was all right. I didn't really like the changes. I thought it was just another typical episode.
Okay.
That's what I thought.
Well, I haven't watched it yet, so I really can't say. But all right. How about Arrow? Which I didn't watch also either.
And you didn't watch Arrow. Arrow, however, I liked a lot because we had a lot of flashbacks we had a lot of flashbacks back to Russia, and it was sort of like the final goodbyes between Oliver and Anatoly, which, by the way, Anatoly may be a criminal, but he is a criminal that I like. He is a very cool character, or at least the past Anatoly, because the present Anatoly is a bit of an asshole. Pardon my language. And I don't know, just I just like the back and forth between Oliver and Anatoly. I liked it a lot. I like the actor that plays Anatoly because he's from Stargate Atlantis. He played Radek Zelenka.
Yes, Mr. Zelenka.
And so that
he would always push his glass.
Yeah, Zelenka.
And start getting to work.
Yes. Yeah.
Right. Okay.
And cool. I don't know, just I thought the episode was good. The fight scenes were great. I liked the stuff that was going on with Felicity and Helix, which leads me to believe that Helix is going to be potentially the bad guys next season, most likely. It's either going to be them or it's going to be the Russians. And that's it.
Okay. All right, cool. I guess I'll jump to Legion. I'm not going to spoil it for you. And if you haven't watched Legion yet, Legion has only been 8 episodes. I've enjoyed the progression of Legion each episode. It didn't turn out the way I thought it would end. But also, I actually did like the ending. The one thing I like about Legion is, you know how I always complain about superheroes and power levels and... don't worry, I'm not spoiling. I'm not spoiling anything. Superheroes, power levels, as well as also how they perceive stuff. Legion handles the power levels well, and Legion also has a good trajectory act for the hero. So it really turns out well, and I like the way. So if you haven't watched it yet, stay to the end. There's a post-credit sequence, and you're going to see something that happens to Legion in there. So I'll say, yeah. All right, I'm done. I was saying that when you watch Legion also, stay till the end of episode 8. There is a post-credit sequence that shows you what's going to happen.
They put a post-credit scene.
Yeah, they did. That's kind of their hints to what happens next season with Legion. So that's that.
Okay.
All right. Expanse. Did you see it?
Yeah, I watched both episodes. I missed 2 episodes. I watched both of them today. This week's episode was pretty good. The week before, however, was not. I thought the week before's episode was kind of boring. Didn't really care for it. But I would have to say my favorite parts of this most recent episode would have to be Draper, the scenes involving Draper. Just because you can start to tell that she's developing an appreciation for some of the things that Earth has, like the sky, the ocean, that kind of thing. And I'm thinking that Draper might actually switch sides. I think she might.
It's very possible.
I don't know if she's going to. I don't know if she's going to like go completely 180 and like join the Earth Marines and start killing Martians, but I think that she's going to want to stay on Mars. I mean, stay on Earth. I mean, and that's going to create conflict with her and her people.
Yeah, and especially with her unit all dead, and them putting blame on one of them.
Yeah, there's not really anything left tying her to Mars now. I mean, she was born there, so that's a tie, but still, all of her friends are pretty much dead because I don't see her as the kind of person to have friends outside of the Martian military.
I mean, the best place for Draper is really a 5th member on the Rocinante, I think.
Oh no!
Yes.
No!
Yes.
I don't see that. No.
Yes.
No. Just no.
Yes. I'll tell you why I think she should be a good 5th member. You know why? Because who do you think she would butt heads with the most?
I would have to say, I can't pick any one person. I'd have to say either Amos or Alex. It'd have to be one of those two.
Alex is the leader again? No. Yeah.
The pilot. He's the pilot.
No, not Alex. Not even Amos. I think it's going to be the leader because she likes to buck authority. And you know how on that ship...
Well, yeah.
They've kind of just given him authority and they've kind of gone with it. She will buck it and Amos will like that. I think Amos will.
Yeah, Amos will probably like it.
And I think
the thing is, she doesn't know who the Rocinante are.
No,
she doesn't know about the Rocinante yet.
No, but what is going to happen is that they will probably need to get her somewhere. She's going to contact what's his name at the guy at the station again.
Tycho
Station. Even though it looked like they cut them off, but I think she's going to contact him again, and I think that's how she joins the Rocinante because they need her to.
Yeah, but in order to join them, she needs to know about them. She doesn't know about the Rocinante. She doesn't even know they exist.
I know, but I'm saying that they need to get her somewhere. Tycho will be the intermediary, and he's like, look, I need you guys to help get this person because we need to find blah, 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 blah. And that's how she joins the ship. And then it becomes a new union. Because to me, I still feel that ship needs 5, not 4 people. Because really you've got, Captain and his girlfriend. And then you've got Amos and pilot like that. It was always good to have a 5th person there to kind of bridge some of those gaps. So.
Well, technically, they do have a 5th person. It's that guy from Ganymede. I can't remember his name.
Yeah, I know. But that
he could be the 5th member.
No, he's too tame to be a 5th member. And once you find his daughter, that's pretty much it. But the fact that that the billionaire or the rich guy who was playing both sides and creating soldiers or some kind of
Jules Mao. Mao. He's Julie's father.
There's some kind of creatures that can survive and he's using kids with a special disorder because I guess they had.
Okay, I have to ask. What do you think those creatures are? Do you think they're a result of mutation from the protomolecule, or do you think they're robots?
No, it's mutation from protomolecule. Absolutely.
Thank you. Thank you. I'm not the only one that thinks that, because apparently my stepdad thinks they're robots.
Yeah, how can they be robots? We've been dealing with. We've not seen any mechanical
exactly
functionality in this.
I told him that they couldn't be robots, because if they were robots, it would create a whole slew of new plot lines that would have to be explained, and they don't have enough episodes left in the season to do that. Yeah, so it has to be the proto-molecule.
When have they used the only time you've seen any kind of robotics in this show is when that big Mormon starship was being taken out of the dock, and they used those robotic tugs to take it out. That's pretty much it. You've not seen a single robot on the show. Whenever they want to fix something outside, you wear a suit and you go outside. They don't have robots. They don't even, I mean, it's very limited in this universe. So I would say
it has to be the proto-molecule.
Yeah, it's proto-molecules. I mean, because you're testing on kids, you think you can genetically grow them faster, and you can also mold them into what you want. So that's why they have them in there. So I have to say that's pretty much it. Yeah, that is pretty much it for shows. I have stopped watching The Walking Dead. So sorry, guys. But yeah, if you guys have any questions or any comments, definitely let us know. Leave them down below. Otherwise, don't forget to like and share this video, subscribe to the channel, and always enjoy your entertainment.